now. Awesome. And we have some people joining us. So we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our health professional interview series. My name is Brandi Murphy. I'm the Director of Training and Field Development for nutraMetrix, and I'm joined today with Dr. Nancy Miller-Ihli, one of our nutraMetrix clinical faculty members, TLS trainers, nutraMetrix trainers, general field specialists. Dr. Nancy Miller-Ihli is one of our incredible trainers across the board in the company, and we were just talking about the fact that we've been training together since like 2007, almost 13 years. It's so crazy, but I always learn so much from you, and I'm so thankful that you were willing and able to join us today. So thank you and welcome.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Brandi. Always fun to chat with you and with our nutraMetrix colleagues.
Thank you so much. And so the reason why I asked you to join me is I know you've trained with us quite a bit, but we have a lot of new nutraMetrix family members. We have a lot of new nutraMetrix health professionals. We have a lot of new nutraMetrix consultants, and they might not be aware of your background or your personal story. And I wanted to give them the opportunity to hear that from you today. But also, you have a lot of really cool training opportunities coming up. And I thought if we could jump on the line and share a little bit about you today, maybe people could share this video, which we'll put on the YouTube channel, with their colleagues, and that might prompt them to want to attend one of the upcoming trainings. So can you start off by telling us a little bit about your background prior to your nutraMetrix and Market America introduction, and then we'll talk about your nutraMetrix TLS Market America business.
Okay, great. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Yeah, I was introduced to the business in 2004 by my friend Linda DeChambeau, who was a veterinarian. And I think Linda thought that perhaps I would be a good fit for me because of my background, Brandi. So I worked for USDA for more than 25 years doing nutrition-related research. And, you know, in that capacity, I worked in a lab developing methods for things like, you know, important nutrients like chromium. I looked at things related to absorption and bioavailability. I spent a good bit of time looking at comparisons of different forms of cobalamin or B12. I looked at methyl and hydroxy and cyanocobalamin. So Linda said, oh, you know, Nancy, you've got to look at this company. They have amazing forward-thinking science-based products. Also, when I was working for USDA, they invited me to serve as the acting national program leader for nutrition for the US. And I always tell people, like, in that capacity, I learned right away that nutrition policy is dictated by economics and politics. Doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with what we think are best practices for health.
Right.
But what we also learned when I was in that capacity is I wrote a white paper on obesity for the White House. And I also had the opportunity to, you know, at that time, learn about what we call low glycemic impact eating, or eating to stabilize your blood sugar. So, you know, that was very helpful for me personally, because that's when I started my weight loss journey. I've lost more than 185 pounds. Following the low glycemic program. It's like a whole person, Brandi.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, you know, it is good. But, you know, I love the fact that, you know, in that job, I was sort of in a tough spot because they wanted me to stay on as the national program leader. And I didn't feel well qualified to do that because at that time I weighed so much more. And, you know, it really limited my ability to, I felt, to be, you know, very systematic or strategic or impactful in that position, even though I had the scientific knowledge. So I was really grateful to be able to not only learn about that, but then to really put it into action as I got involved with Market America and nutraMetrix.
Yeah, and I mean, your background is so incredible and diverse in all the different nutrients that you looked at, even things like pycnogenol and the antioxidant content of different foods that you would do your research on while you were there.
Yes.
So you did have a background in the nutrition part, which is fantastic. Tell me how that applied to, once you did start your nutraMetrix business, you know, how did your background in nutrition impact your business growth?
Well, I think I'm going to just back up one step and tell people how I actually got involved with the input of my friend Linda DeChambeau, who was the veterinarian. And, you know, people will say to me, oh my gosh, Nancy, were you taking medical advice from a dog doctor? But Linda DeChambeau is very well trained in herbs, and she's also an acupuncturist. And, you know, many people may not know this, Brandi, but to do acupuncture on animals, you have to get trained on people first. So you actually get trained on people, then you get to work on the animals, which I think is quite interesting. But, you know, Linda said to me, Nancy, you've got to take a look at this product. It's called OPC3. And I said, you mean oligomeric parenthocyanidins? And she's like, how do you know that?
How do you know? Most people can't pronounce that. Right.
And I'm like, well, we did a database on the OPC content of foods when I worked for USDA. And she's like, why? And I said, Oh, because those plant compounds are naturally anti-carcinogenic, anti-atherogenic, meaning avoiding plaque buildup and heart disease, and they're naturally anti-inflammatory. She's like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, no, you've got to be kidding me. So, I really was very eager at first just to get, information on these products to improve my own health, because I have some pro-inflammatory challenges, I have some autoimmune disease. Being overweight's a pro-inflammatory challenge. I was like, man, if they've got a highly concentrated water-soluble extract of these OPCs, that's going to just be the best for me. So, I did my own big experiment, Brandi, of N=1,
Yeah.
right? So I went to my doctor and I said, they're supposed to be good anti-inflammatories. Can we test it? And he's a really good sport. He said, sure, Nance, we'll measure your SED rate and see reactive protein, which we did. And so for my large experiment of Nancy=1, it fell in half, 50%. But now, as you know, Brandi, we have clinical trials that the company has done comparing the isotonics to pills and tablets with the same formulation. And in those studies that have been published in Circulation, and we've seen a reduction of CRP of 52% in a statistically significant population.
It's fantastic.
So, I know, but what's so cool about it, Brandi, is that these products are so well researched. They're scientifically based, clinically proven ingredients. They do what they say they're going to do. I mean, I'm a pretty tough, as you know, I'm a pretty tough critic, and I want to make sure that things really make sense scientifically. And I'm just so proud to be affiliated with this product line. And I think that's also why it's such a draw for the health professionals that we get to work with.
Yeah, and that was going to lead to my next question, because you're so active in our training community, and whether it's through a general product training, as I mentioned, you're a field product specialist, whether it's through the TLS program and helping to teach the TLS system, both within our consumer market and in our health professional market, what drew you to wanting to spend time educating other practitioners and on franchise owners and nutraMetrix consultants? And what's one of your favorite things about being a trainer?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about being a trainer is to try to take a concept that's more complicated, a scientific concept, and being able to explain it in easy to understand terms. Because I think, science is amazing, but I was an analytical chemist, so that's an applied scientist. And so, theoretical stuff is interesting, but at the end of the day, people really need to know how to be able to use these things. So,
exactly.
For me, being able to explain to somebody how to have a systematic approach to weight loss that doesn't require any crazy elimination of any whole food group or having surgery, that just is like, it's in my heart to do that because it worked for me. And
right.
So I want other people to have that same opportunity. People try a lot of different diets and they fail, and it's really that the diets fail them. People don't understand the science. They don't understand that it can be stress related, or it can be related to your adiponectin levels, or it can be related to leptin resistance, or there's just so many pieces to it. And we have so many amazing tools. So like you said, we're at TLS, we have the consumer line, which is awesome. And then we also have, additional options when we work with our TLS Select with the health professionals. And for example, we can use GeneSNP. And as you know, I'm a huge proponent of GeneSNP, and we're able to uncover things that people don't find otherwise. I mean, anybody can make a nice little box and say, here, just fit in this box and follow these guidelines, and you're going to be able to lose weight. But that's not really very realistic for people. We have to match things to people's personality, to their time frame, their goals, their commitment level, and even their budget. So right. I like being able to help people kind of ferret that out, figure that out.
Right. And you're not only a trainer for the company, but you also are a nutriMetrix consultant and health professional yourself that's grown a team of health professionals, and you have a very diverse team. And so because of that, we invited Dr. Nancy to be one of our nutriMetrix trainers to also teach on the business side of how we implement nutriMetrix into a practice. And you have a couple trainings coming up that I just want to be able to introduce the people to. And so on Saturday, June 13th, which is the weekend that we had originally scheduled to have our nutriMetrix annual convention, and because of the different events going on in the world, we can't get together in person, but we're still giving people the opportunity that want to be introduced to what is nutriMetrix, how do we help health professionals, what types of implementation strategies do we offer to both NCs and the health professionals. You're going to be doing a training on that on June 13th on Saturday. And anybody that has not yet been to a nutriMetrix consultant training, or people that need to recertify, because our nutraMetrix consultants do need to attend a training once every 2 years, that will count for temporary new NC status or for recertification status until we can get to our next live event, which is currently scheduled in October in California. But so that Saturday, June 13th, Dr. Nancy Miller-Ihli is going to be doing a nutraMetrix 101-201, and that information is in our GMTSS system, so everybody is welcome to attend that. It's a great value. It's 2 3-hour sessions that are $15 each, so $30 for the whole day, 6 hours of training. I strongly encourage everybody to plug into that. And then on Sunday, the 14th, we are doing really a health professional summit. It's going to be a 3-hour summit, and we've invited Dr. Nancy to come on and talk about how she utilizes the GeneSNP program within her team and how she trains new practitioners on the value of GeneSNP by getting them to use the test themselves and then go through the results with them. And you just want to give them like a sneak peek. Don't tell your whole story, right? But like a sneak peek of why they want to join that session on June 14th.
Well, you know, that session, as we were discussing, Brandi, you and Sarah decided you were going to focus on being a product of the product. And one of the key things about GeneSNP is that until you do the test yourself, you really can't really appreciate all the insights that it provides. And even though when people get the results back, they may already be like, yeah, there's nothing really too surprising. It just really reinforces everything, because we can tell somebody not only what to do, but why.
Right.
And the whole test don't guess philosophy is phenomenal. And I'm so excited because on our team, we have 10 or 12 professionals who are regularly using it, ranging from physical therapists to acupuncturists to MDs to naturopaths. I mean, it's just a whole wide range of people. And we've really been able to unearth some things and find some hidden, value where people could really make just 1 or 2 tweaks to what they're doing with their lifestyle that made a big difference for their health.
Yeah, so powerful. And then you're going to follow that up the next weekend, June 20th, you're going to do a GeneSNP 101 workshop. So it's going to be a 3-hour workshop, I believe, right? 3-hour workshop on how you're using GeneSNP with your team. So many great training opportunities coming up. And then on July 18th, there's going to be a TLS 101-201 that you're doing. So I really thank you for joining us today. I really wanted to be able to share with people, even if you're watching this on the replay and these events have already happened, you always do events for us, right? You have them in the GMTSS just about every quarter, whether it's a general product training, whether it is a nutraMetrix 101 or 201, a TLS 101, 201. There's so many great opportunities for our field to learn from you. And it's such an honor to have you as part of our faculty. I'm so excited to have you.
You're very kind to say that, Brandi. One of the other things that I stepped up and decided to do with some encouragement was to become a certified trainer. So I also do the B5s, the NUATs, and also the ECCT training. So I have one of those tomorrow. But, I think really all of us have the opportunity to learn from each other. And I've learned a lot working with you and the nutraMetrix team. I love working with you and Dee and also with Sarah. And, all of us together working to promote the different programs that we have. We have hidden value that people just aren't aware of with nutraMetrix and with TLS. And I really hope we can work, to get the word out, because so many people tend to, can stand to benefit from what the programs have to offer.
I totally agree with all of that. One final tip that you have for anybody, anything else that you wanted to share that I didn't ask you, that, why should people consider coming to our trainings, whether they're a health professional or to potentially be a nutraMetrix consultant or a TLS coach? If you had one more little piece of advice just to say you need to get to a training, what would that be? Yeah,
I would say that, we don't know what we don't know. And even when you go to a training, it's not a one and done thing. And I really believe that, as you hear it different times from different people, it'll sink in. And I think that we need to leverage the trainings to get our prospects too. My husband and I took all of the trainings, Brandi. We took NUAT, B5, and ECCT before we opened our account. But that's 2 scientists and, a scientist and an engineer being really, thoughtful and mindful about things. But I mean, our company makes that available. And so I think it's really important. And I like to have my health professionals attend an NC training.
Yes.
I also, because I think it's really important, and I'm super excited that we're now having these GeneSNP trainings that are open to everyone. And, while Dr. D will do a GeneSNP 101 and it'll be focused on, the specifics and the background and lots of discussion about the genes, I certainly will discuss some of those things too. But The workshop that I'm going to do is going to focus more on the how-to. What are the nuts and the bolts, and how do you actually process, and how do you talk to a patient, and, you know, how do I help my team to be able to interpret things, and, you know, how have them feel comfortable and confident when they're relating the results to a client. So,
and I know
you've
helped so many other teams do that too. You jump on conference calls with other health professionals and kind of have done roundtables with other health professionals. And so we're so, again, lucky to have you as part of our faculty and somebody that's so passionate and committed about sharing that message with others. I'm just going to check really quick because we're in the Zoom, and just check the chat box and see if there are any. There's no questions in the chat box here. Let me check in the Facebook group. And if there aren't any questions, then we will go ahead and sign off for today. But I'll be seeing you again very shortly online in our June 13th, June 14th weekend. I can't get over how soon that is. That is coming up. It's like the days are long, but the weeks are flying by right now.
Exactly.
No questions there, but thank you again so much. And I hope you have a great weekend and a great holiday. And thanks again for joining me.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Brandi. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.